Syndra has more balls than any other champion in League. Then you add in her abilities, and my god, she is crazy. More balls equals more damage, and with all those balls, you can rule the world. Now, Syndra's a lot easier to pick up than I originally thought, and play without really much practice. But really, if you're going to go into a ranked game, then you should probably practice. But I went in not knowing anything about her except really what her abilities do, and honestly, it's pretty easy. In the early game, you are really just trying to get some poke damage on the enemy with your Qs and just generate balls in their face. Then you have an extremely long range stun with your E when you pass them the rock. It also deals a good bit of damage and opens up a nice opportunity for a follow-up. And just so you remember that your E only stuns when you hit a ball into the enemy, otherwise it just kind of pushes them away. Your W is also an ability that you have. Yeah, it's honestly not amazing early, just a tiny bit more damage. It does like 50 after resistances, which is basically an auto attack, but it does slow, so that is something. And to be honest, most of the early game, you're just fishing for your EQ stun for follow-up, and then you just try and play safe. It really isn't deep gameplay. You just want to watch damage numbers go big. It is essentially just a poke support. Play safe, deal damage. It is good to know that if you are looking for a quick stun, if you Q and then E directly after, your Q will be active before the push actually goes off, so you'll be able to get an instant stun. But this really only works if your Q is at max range. If you do it too close, then it might not hit it. Just a little tip that I found out when I was playing her. I really wish there was more I had to say about this, but that's really all there is. Once you hit level 6, you really just throw that into your damage mix. Your ult does more damage based on how many times you've teabagged the enemy recently. Early in the game, you want to set your Q, and if you want to keep that ball longer, you can grab it with your W to extend its time. Then you will be able to have another Q when your ult is up and ready. That's essentially an extra 100 damage on your combo. Early in the game, I'll give her damage a nice head nod of approval, but later in the game, you are the burst mage. You just play safe, try and get a pick if you can, but just stay at the back of the line and you will deal as much damage as possible. Just be there for as many fights as possible, hang in there, and you will be a monster. She scales extremely effectively, and her passive makes it so good, and is something that I wanted to talk about separately on its own because there's a lot. Basically, for a lot of things that you do, you generate stacks. She gains 1, 2, or 3 stacks for hitting an enemy with 2 abilities within 4 seconds. She gains 5 stacks for leveling up, and 1 stack for killing a large minion. When you are in lane, landing abilities is key for scaling in the later game, and make sure you save a support item stack to execute the cannon minion because that will get you 1 of your stacks. At 40 stacks, your Q now has 2 charges, so double the possible damage with your Q, and with more Qs, that means more damage possible in your ult because more balls in their face. At 60 stacks, your W now deals an additional 12% true damage, and this does scale with your AP, giving you an additional 2% true damage for every 100 AP you have. At 80 stacks, this one's kind of underwhelming, but your E gets a larger ball angle. But it does slow for 70% now. At 100 stacks, your ult now executes champions below 15% of their HP, and at 120 stacks, you get an additional 15% of your AP, essentially a free Death Cap passive. For her runes, you want to go First Strike for more gold, free boots for even more free gold. Honestly, I should have gone triple tonic for essentially a free level and a free 5 extra stacks on my passive, and cosmic for more cooldown. Then on the secondary tree, we just want ring for more mana and transcendence for even more cooldown. For her build, you just really want to build her as bursty as possible. Zax for your support item, Lumens for more burst, Shadow Flame so you can just deal insane damage on low HP targets, then just AP stuff. Let me know in the comments below if you would build them this way or if you would build them slightly different. And if you're liking these types of guides, please subscribe and like the video so more people can see it too. Now let's get into that Syndra gameplay. Now when I was looking back at the games that I played Syndra, I realized I was cursed. Our first game, our mid laner went 1-7 and ended in a forfeit. Then the next game, our top laner went 0-6 against an AA Trox, and that one also ended in a loss. Got another game loss, and that one was actually a close game. Then one of the games, our top laner went 0-4, and our mid and jungle went 0-2, and that also ended in FF. Then I also just sprinkle in 2 wins there, and honestly, it's a true rule of 33. And because I have a job and I can't play League all day, we're just gonna look at one of the games we ended up losing in. At the start of the game, we're looking nice, and we start off with a fight early. Leona goes in on our Ezreal, and we go in on the Jhin. You might see this happening a lot moving forward, and although the Jhin does get a kill on our Ezreal, we're able to get a kill back for a 1-for-1. We're back in lane, and Leona does what she does best. She goes in, and I do try and do a cheeky flash push and try and get the Leona under our tower, and that makes our Ez miss his ult. But he ends up getting the kill, but I kind of made him die for it instead of it kind of just being a free kill. But hey, we still get the kill on the Jhin. I'll see that as a win. Then unfortunately, we do have a very bad 2 minutes after that. We die to the Jhin, then we die to the Lilia, but at least on the second one, we get a return kill. After that, Leona was roaming, and we got a lot of poking on the Jhin, and I'm about to back, and then I decide I want this kill. And what can I say? It's a Fiesta bot lane. So we go in for another fight. We burst down the Jhin like our life depending on it, because it actually did. But even though we did get the kill, I end up dying anyway, and we don't even get a follow-up. Then we go back to the old 2v2, but actually 1v1 scenario. I wonder who will deal more damage, us versus the Jhin or Leona versus the Ezreal. That's right, it's us. We leave, come back, and then after a long, uneventful fight, we actually do eventually get a kill on the Leona and take the tower. Then I look at my mini-map, and I see Aatrox is pushing the bot lane, and I decide, yes, it's a good idea to try and stop this 5-0 champion and the CC Queen of League. It didn't work out. And because of that, we decide bot lane isn't for us anymore. We head top for the chase all the way up the lane, and we're able to secure the kill. Then nothing happens. Nothing happens. And then for some reason we forfeit the game because our Wukong was useless. And that's it, we did it! We had a lot of good games bought on Syndra, and she was a lot of fun to play. If you enjoyed this video, then check out this other one where we blade dance our way around the rift. Talk to you later!